Welcome to 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, where we take random movies from Metacritic's 15K Plus movies to randomly watch whether we like it or not. Hello and welcome to episode 31 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews. This is Colin.
And this is Niall.
Again. And this is random recap of movies 22 to 30. So this is our third recap. Who've thought we would make
Who'd
it
have
this far?
thunk it, eh?
Yeah. Huesera the Bone Woman was episode 22. It was movie number 1580. User score 6.5, minus score 81, 93 minutes movie. What's your memories of Huesera the Bone Woman?
F this movie. I absolutely hated having to watch it. Not because I thought it was a terrible movie. I just thought it wasn't great, but it just made me feel crap. I can't watch body horror. It just messes with my head. And this is just uncomfortable for me.
I'm going to have to...
I know you disagree.
I don't really mind. I'm going to have to get refunds for the knuckle cracking competition ticket that I bought you.
Yeah, that was the worst part. It's just a subtle thing, but she kept cracking her goddamn knuckles, and it just wrecked my head.
Yeah, it's a very oral.
Oh, it is, especially when they were at that dinner. I remember that dinner scene destroyed
bone slurping,
bone slurping, and cracking chicken bones and chomping into meat. And I was like, "Oh God, stop! Don't make that loud. I don't need to hear slurping when they're eating meat. That's awful."
Well, I'm going to give you a word of advice then. Don't go to Japan and go to a ramen shop because slurping
that's different slurping. That's sleep. No. Yeah, that's drinking from a bowl. That's fine. When you're chopping on noodles, bones, when you're chopping on bones and the crack and the no.
So you never did you have a dog growing up?
Oh yeah, that's different.
When they're cracked, when they're eating their bones.
Yeah, that for some reason that did not affect me, but this just I did not like it. I think it was the non-stop nature of it that wrecked my head.
Well, here's the deal on hindsight. I obviously rated this higher than St. Maud. Like, if you compare Huesera to St. Maud and the journey the main character takes on their descent to madness or possession, whatever you want to call it, this one Huesera does it much better than St. Maud.
I would give you that, but the problem in this is I kind of liked Amanda, the patient in St. Maud. I didn't like any of the characters in Huesera. I didn't like the husband. I thought he was a jerk, and I really didn't like herself either because she was just a moany, selfish fecker.
Valeria? You didn't like Valeria? There was nothing. She was being possessed and haunted by bone monsters.
Listen, I think that was just a mechanism to affect the internal body horror that she had, being pregnant and not really wanting to be in a relationship with the husband.
Oh, so you don't believe there was any
in my
supernatural?
Head, there was no supernatural in this. This was just a manifestation of her own internal body horror.
Well, I believe Valeria was being haunted, so
so maybe if that was if I had it just that way, if she was haunted, then absolutely I'd get behind her. But I don't think she was. I think she's just a bit bickies and a bit bickies. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we both don't like horror movies, and for this it's good to go into the genre. And I guess the one scene that stood out for me was it was quite a nicely shot scene.
The bed scene, was it?
The bed scene, yeah.
That was well done. That was proper horror.
Yeah, it was well orchestrated, especially after watching St. Maud, where nothing happens until the very end, and Bilbo Baggins comes out of the bed.
Yes.
So, it's because it's shot from the POV from the bed. You see a sort of a shadowy figure far away in the corridor. So you're going, what's going to come around? The
sudden nature of it just jumping up and grabbing her leg is
it comes
shocking.
It comes up from the bed as opposed to coming around the door frame where you're expecting it, and it just yanks her foot Misery style. It was great. It was really good. I sort of wish there was more scenes like that at that sort of level of horror, but
Again, another issue I have with this movie was the ending with
yeah,
the giant monster at the end. Just looked cack in my head. Anyway, I don't think it. I think if you haven't got a massive budget, don't go for something in broad daylight, monster styly, because it's not going to look good.
and it just was a bad. It was a bad ending. It was just badly
Oh yeah,
shot and badly
and then she
conceived.
at the end of it, she just f's off and leaves her kid behind after
Yeah,
struggling and fighting so hard to protect the kid.
well, she goes off with her ex lesbian lover. I guess she
Yeah, it kind of
goes meets
annoyed me.
her.
Like either take the kid with you, or stay with the kid or something. Just don't feck off and make it all kind of pointless.
I think they were. I think they wanted to be a little bit indie with their ending and not
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
happy
yeah,
ending.
yeah. Yeah, I get you, Dan, but it annoyed me.
Fridge baby.
Oh, that also annoyed me. That was freaky. I didn't like that at all. It's not
That was
scary.
an interesting.
It's not
No, it's not
scary.
scary, but
It's
it's
just
weird.
like as a dad, that just freaked me out. Because the realization that the kid's in the fridge, and for a few seconds she's just staring at the fridge. I do remember shouting at the screen, going, "Fucking open the fridge! In the fridge! God damn it, woman!"
Remind
Yeah,
me not to watch a movie with you if you're
yeah,
shouting all the time.
I shout all the time. My wife gives out shit.
I thought that was a really good part of the movie. I thought it
Oh
was
no,
quite
no, no,
scary. Not
no.
scary, but tense.
Very okay. Yeah, there was a high degree of tension on that one. That's possibly why I was shouting at the screen.
Yeah, yeah. That was Huesera. That was episode 22. Anything else? Moving on. Yeah, we'll move on.
Happy to move on.
Yeah, episode 23 was random movie 5830. It was The Wind and the Line from 1975.
But of
Metascore 67. User score TBDD.
But of course it was. This is a good old Sean
Yosh.
Connery movie. And
Yosh.
I don't particularly think it was a great movie, but I think Sean carries this movie very well. He's got a presence about him, and his accent in this. Of course, he's Oliver.
Yosh. Yosh.
It's as good as
Yosh.
his Hunt for Red October accent.
Do not laugh at me again.
With Perestroika and Gleichnost. Okay, you're Russian now. Well done, Sean. No, I think he's very
Yeah.
good in this. As is, oh god, I can't remember her name now.
Candace Bergen.
Candice Bergen. Yes, she's very good in this. Some
Murphy Brown.
some of the stories kind of cack. And
Yeah. That was my least rated. Was I gave it 1 out of 5 for the plot, and
it
the
was
rest is
terrible. The rest of the movie, like production, too many horse scenes,
yeah.
horses everywhere, and then wobbly swords. Come on.
Boing,
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 yeah,
boing.
yeah. When
Yeah.
I see somebody getting stabbed with a sword, I don't expect a sword to bend. That kind of annoyed me. But aside from the bad plot and the bad production, I really enjoyed the movie.
It was. Yeah, I don't hate it. And the fact that the guy who Jerry Goldsmith, the guy that did the soundtrack, did the Star Trek Voyager theme tune,
Mm.
then I will always remember this movie for his saga-like adventure music. It wasn't the best, but it's because he did Star Trek Voyager. I love him.
That's good enough reason for me. Yeah, listen, it's very 2D. This movie, there's no depth to it. It's just Sean Connery running around on a horse pretending to be Arabic, and for some reason that works for me, and it shouldn't because it's not a good movie.
No, no, and there's like the whole. It goes back and forth between Teddy Roosevelt,
Oh, I forgot
working
about Teddy.
his
He's
bit
well. He's
in
actually
America.
he's actually quite well acted as well.
Oh, he's very good. Yeah,
But again, it kind of is kind of pointless to the movie.
yeah. It sort of gives the background story that the Americans are trying to save the hostages. I was actually thinking a lot about this with the whole thing that's going on in Israel. Actually, it was like
Christ,
the
yeah.
same hostage thing. Like, don't want to make it serious, but like I made the connection. I was like, oh my god, that's what Sean Connery did. Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
No, but it's a whole just sort of like the whole. There's hostages. It's in that area, and there's people trying to get them out of there with a military
Well,
sort
I'm
of
not sure
campaign.
Morocco and Israel are the same place.
No, same ballpark.
It's warmer than here. I'll give you that.
It's in that area of troublesome happenings.
Yeah, well, it's a few thousand miles in it, but we won't quibble.
No,
Yeah, it's yeah, I get that, but this is much less sinister than actual real world life events right
yeah,
now.
but that's the thing though, and that's one of the things we said during it. It doesn't actually really know what it is because there are beheadings in this movie, but there are also just light
That's
humor and
yeah, I don't remember that. Like there was
statements.
chuckling after chopping somebody's head off, and then people's reaction to death, like the young boy at the start. Oh, he's got a knife in his back. Fiddly dee, that's terrible.
He's got a knife in his back.
Yeah, in fairness, he was only a servant, so you wouldn't really get choked up about a servant getting killed. You're like, you can get more of those.
No, no, and the whole plot where the family becomes enamored and really likes Sean Connery's Razuli. It's like, come on, he beheaded people in front of you. I know there's a thing called Stockholm syndrome, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it was like instant Stockholm syndrome, though, is the biggest problem. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of unbelievable. And it never really happened because the kidnappee was a
yeah,
bloke and he didn't have kids with him. So, yeah. But, at
yeah.
least
They
at least
needed.
it actually kind of happened compared to a movie that subsequently followed.
You've got an issue with Hidalgo.
Oh, I have a massive issue with Hidalgo. How much Disney pushed the based on true life stories tagline in the posters annoys me because
Yeah. Well, it is
no,
based on it. It is
it's
based on
based
it.
on some guy who wrote stuff down.
All right, we're not even there at the movie
Sorry,
yet.
sorry, we'll get to that later.
Hold
It
on to your
annoys me so
anger.
much. Yeah.
But I will say before leaving this, they wasted too much money and time on big, massive horse
Oh,
scenes that take up like
so many horses
there's
in the sunset.
there's probably like 30 minutes of just horse scenes and
Yeah.
hundreds of them.
Yeah, and we complain about that in a couple of movies as well.
Yeah. Episode 24. Barrett,
Oh,
the
see,
servant.
this is a good movie. It's superbly quotable. It's got a bit of satire about it as well, about the class struggle and the changes to the class system in England at the time. But outside of that, it's a fantastic little psychological torture movie, if you will, on
Hmm.
poor, what was his name? The guy being tortured, Bart's boss.
Tony.
Poor Tony.
Tony.
Poor
Um,
Tony.
Before we get into it, just it's from '64. It was ran the movie 631, I believe, or no, sorry, it was ran the movie 101,
Mm.
and it had a meta score of 94 and a user score of 7.5. And I think the main thing I'll remember from this movie is the transition from subservient Barrett
Oh,
to dickhead Barrett.
that's a good way of putting it. He's an absolute psycho, and it's so well done actually, and it's almost a subtle thing. When the two lads, there's a point where it's equilibrium, where the two lads are kind of arguing about chores in the house,
Yeah.
but that doesn't last long. Bart puts his foot on the neck of poor Tony, really psychologically, and crushes him.
Yeah, yeah. There's basically the mirror image of Barrett's plot progression is Tony's plot progression. The Barrett goes up the sort of confidence chart, and Tony goes down, and he's a shell of himself at the end. And it's good. I would recommend The Servant. It's quite a
Absolutely.
nice.
I do remember the first 20 minutes. I was like, no, I don't know what this. Like
Yeah,
the first 2 minutes, I was like, yes, I like what they're doing with the camera arc. This could be interesting, but then it slows down. But then when it ramps up, And when the craziness kicks off with Barrett destroying Tony, it is so good.
Yeah.
It is
I'll
really good.
also I'll also remember the quite innovative scene in the cafe or whatever, where it's
Oh
very
yeah,
much like a theater set, where basically there's like four different conversations happening at the same time around Susan and Tony, and
Len
it's
Brennan in the
very,
background.
yeah, Bishop Len Brennan getting kicked up the arse in the background. But no, but like they don't have any implications in the plot or anything. But it's basically, there's one scene I mentioned this in the episode where Susan and Tony are front and center, and then they stop talking, and the couple behind goes into focus, and they start talking about something else, and it's quite a
It's a nice
cool,
little scene. If we're
yeah,
grabbing
quite,
scenes out of this, there's two scenes I'd love to mention. There's the one where the Tony and the Mrs. or fiance come back to the house, and Barrett and his sister are upstairs in Tony's bed, where he
yeah,
opens the door and just stands there in the nutty, but you don't see him in the nutty, you just see the shadow of him in the nutty, and it's so good because he's standing there like almost like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Even though he can't see them, it's so good.
yeah.
But then the next scene, the scene that I absolutely adore, is the hide and seek scene.
It's so weird.
It's so weird and it's so depraved. I love there's one scene where Bart's face just comes out of the dark and it's just dark contrasting shadows and he's just grimacing like evilly, and Tony is in the bathtub hugging onto the shower curtains, petrified. Fantastic. Mental.
Yeah, and it just brings back Psycho, and Psycho
Yeah.
was released in 1960, 4 years, 3 years before this. So I'm guessing it was quite a
Oh,
good
influenced.
influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't have minded Psycho for a horror movie, but didn't get
I
that either.
wouldn't mind it. I think it was scary for her.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on from The Servant? Good movie. Please, you can watch it. You can watch it. It's good. Wouldn't be a waste of times.
I could spend another half an hour talking about it. Probably best not to, but it is such a good movie. If you only watch one out of these 10 movies, this is the one I pick. Great movie.
Yeah, I think it's 8 movies, but not splitting hairs here.
I can't count.
Yeah. So episode 25 was movie 12,094. It was Hidalgo from 2004. Metascore
Fake
54.
news.
User score 81. So users liked it better than the
Wow.
critics.
Wow.
So basically, at the end of the day, Niall hates it because it's based on a fake asshole guy who just lied about his life and story.
He was a horse handler for a circus. None of the stuff happens in real life. Jerk.
Don't diss my horse.
Yeah. Yeah, you can slag me off all you want, but don't insult my horse.
Now, I'll remember from this movie is all of Hidalgo's close-ups and what a lovely horse he is.
You know, there's one scene where he's looking back, reminds me of The Sisters and Rip Torn, when he looks sideways when the guy jumps out the window. It's the same expression on
Oh.
Rip Torn as the horse.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. We might have to put
Side by side, yeah.
side by side. Average, below average movie.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an epic. I think it was trading a lot on Viggo Mortensen's name post Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
There's nothing too exceptional about it. Maybe J.K. Simmons' 15 seconds of brilliance lifts it up a bit. But aside from that, it's quite flat. There's no real nuance or depth to this movie.
No, you got Omar Sharif. Obviously, it's good to see a movie with him in it. That was nice to experience that. No, like he's not utilized to the fullest here, and the plot doesn't, and the script doesn't do him any justice either.
No.
There's a few stupid things as well with the daughter, with Hidalgo. So yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah. Listen, I know I'm ragging on this movie. It's not the worst movie in our 8 movies. Certainly not the best.
Nobody hurts my horse.
Yeah. Again, here's another movie with a lot of horses and a lot of scenery with horses in the foreground. A lot of sunsets, a lot of sand.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason we tend to get movies that are closely related sometimes.
Yeah,
Do you think
yeah.
they're,
Like
do you think
23
there,
and 25, pretty much similar background. Like
yeah,
the
do you think
scenery
there
is
is
identical.
actually, you think there's randomness in the universe or it's all patterns?
I think we're all part of a simulation, and this was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, sometimes I think that too. Anyway, talking about delusional idiots.
Oh my god! Yeah, save the
Episode 20,
green planet.
yeah.
Oh,
Episode 26, random movie 5223, Metascore 70, user score 5 from 2003, Save the Green Planet. Tinfoil hat wearing doofus thinks the world has been invaded by aliens and decides to kidnap his boss or a boss of a chemical plant that was involved in his dad's downfall to
he
suicide.
doesn't just think it; he knows it.
At the end, we realize that he actually does know it, or unless he was just mental and then coincidentally they were aliens.
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely. In fact, I don't think anything likely about it. The movie doesn't make any sense, to be honest. There are some good bits to this movie. Some of the production is actually quite good. And some of these scenes are actually quite well acted. I particularly like the CEO guy who's been tortured. He's fantastic in this movie. Um,
Kang.
Kang, yes, who reminds me of the guy from Shredders.
That was Krang.
Krang, was it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then Kerrang was the heavy metal magazine.
They're all the same in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's great in this. There's a couple of the torture scenes are actually quite well done, and there's a couple of
You love a
anxiety-inducing
good
scenes.
torture.
I do like a good torture. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a misery type moment in it with legs getting snapped. Yeah, listen, it's not great.
No, it's I'm looking at my scores here. They're all below 2, and it's like an art house movie that doesn't really know where it's going, and it that's its downfall basically.
Yeah, there were some good scenes, but the vast majority of this movie was kind of painful to watch, and not in a oh it's a horror movie kind of painful way. It's a when will this bloody thing end kind of way.
Yeah, it was nearly 2 hours long,
Oh,
and
so
it
long.
felt
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of the. I don't know. There's certain parts. There's if you see a few reviews, and I mentioned it before I looked at the reviews. It's got a few Silent of the Lambs type comparisons, obviously with the basement. But there's also the time when the cop comes in and the movie, the video, the TV is showing a video of the basement, and he shuts it off with his toe or something when he
yeah.
says UFO at the window. It's like
I think
UFO,
I
really?
think I think that's the problem. Major problem I had with this was the flip flopping between comedy and horror, and torture. The tone was completely lost on it, and then the ending. Sweet
Yeah,
God, the ending.
just kept on going.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. They're all aliens and the space lasers. Okay. Yeah, earlobes everywhere. Earlobes.
Yeah, what's that about? And then planet explodes. The end.
Nobody could save the dog, who was called Earth.
And I thought I was really clever when it should have been just called Save the Earth. And then I would have tied in with the dog.
Well, I think the most clever thing they could have done with this would be not to make it. That would be very clever.
But
But
movies
made
get
it
made.
was, yeah.
Yeah. Episode 27 was 11,292. The Ladykillers from 2004. Metascore 56. User score 5.9. A below average to average remake of the 55 movie, which is a much better movie.
Disappointment is the only thing I can say about this.
Disappointed.
You've got Tom Hanks, who is a beast of an actor. You've got J.K. Simmons, who I love. I wouldn't say he's a beast of an actor, but he's humorous at times. And then you've got the Coen brothers directing.
Yeah. Recipe.
This is a beautiful recipe. This should be amazing. And the plot and the story taken straight from one of the movies I loved growing up, and it all falls horribly down. I'm blaming the Wayne in this one.
You don't like Marlon Wayans.
He is crap. He's
Garbage.
got one character in him, and that's all he ever trots out. And
Yeah.
once I've seen it once, I didn't particularly like it back in the day. He was in Scream. Was that him in Scream? I can't remember.
Scary movie.
Scary movie. Sorry, yeah. He was in that, and he was crap in that, and that's the same character in this.
Yeah, that's pretty much why he got the job, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. He was
They
a up
needed,
and coming
yeah,
name. Some,
they needed the comedy foil or whatever.
but
But
maybe they should have just left that bit out, or chosen somebody a little bit more less ham-fisted in comedy acting.
it's like don't remake this movie. Don't remake 12 Angry Men. Don't remake any of these classic movies that are set in a specific geolocation,
Mm.
and they work because of that.
They haven't made remade 12 Angry Men, have they?
I don't think so.
Please
That's what I'm
don't,
saying.
because
Don't do it.
yeah, because that's in my top five. That is an amazing movie.
Yeah,
If they do the
yeah.
same to this as like Ladykillers, the original, it's a good movie. It's a great movie. It's just certainly not my top five, probably not my top 100 either. But I still loved it. I thought it was a great movie. If they do that to 12 Angry Men, I'll find them and I will kill them.
I will find you and I will kill you. I didn't mention this in the episode, but I remember watching a movie from the 50s, whatever, called Arsenic and Old Lace. Do you remember? Do you ever watch that movie?
That's a new one on me.
I remember. I think I was watching it on Channel 4 one day, and it's got a similar. I think it's got a similar sort of theme. It's like there's an old lady in it, and it's about murder and stuff. And I thought it was quite good. I need to look it up and make sure I'm not totally being mental like Saint Maud or something.
I think it's too late. Next thing you'll be
Yeah.
putting nails in your shoes and mixing some household products to make explosives.
No, no change there.
Standard Saturday night.
Yeah, what do you mean? That's what I've been doing for 20 years. What else? Anything else that sticks out from this movie? I can't. What the hell was wrong with me there? I sort of having a stroke.
Like
What I
the
liked,
production in it is quite good. There's
production
choices.
is good.
Yeah, cinematography fantastic. Yeah.
I like the barges going by because it's
Yes.
unreal. It's
Yes.
not real. It's like, yeah, there's no barge going by every 5 seconds to that dump island. But I like the way the POV of the body just falling down, and it was quite realistic too. I wonder what they used for bodies. Bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. The people who come up with the idea. It was the Coen brothers who were throwing off the edge. Um,
Yeah. Why did you remake this movie?
yeah, I did like a few things as well. I like the Edgar Allan Poe quotes being used in it, and I liked how it ended when a raven perched upon a gargoyle and finished off Tom Hanks, dropped him into
Mm,
the barges.
yeah, that's the way he went.
That was
That's the way
nice,
we all. Yeah.
but that was kind of it. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think I said if you look at it, and maybe if J.K. Simmons was Professor Dorr, I think he could have actually played it a bit more on point. But
yeah. I think
having this,
what let me down or what disappointed me the most was Tom Hanks, which is a weird thing to say in the movie.
no, it was true because from scene one, he was impersonating this weird thing. He's got the fake teeth in, and he has this weird laugh, and it's not good.
Yeah, it is really weird. But he's okay. Aside from the Wayans, bro, Tom let me down the most. Yeah,
Yeah,
because of what I
but
expect from him.
yeah. Well, I think in general the movie just let a lot of people down because of the script and the scenario and yeah, the way it's remade. So sadly for Tom
Like
Hanks, that's our second Tom Hanks movie.
the contents of the barges, it was garbage.
That's a nice way to end that one. Episode 28, random movie 6572
Oh
is
Christ!
Wild Canaries from 2014. And let me just start off straight from the bat here. The title is shit.
Yeah, other than a couple of canaries in the movie for no particular reason, or other than
Oh my
having a
god.
title, it's nothing to do with anything.
Now let's just think about it though first. Let's not. We might be idiots here. Are we missing something? Wild canaries. Are the characters wild? Is the murderer wild?
No,
Damien.
no, and he's not a
Is it
canary.
called? Is it called wild? Well, at the start of the movie, the canaries flee their cage and they're in this pet shop outside and they're wild. And
Yeah,
Barry sees them and goes, "That's funny." Then at the end of the movie, they're put back into the cage. So is that a metaphor for the actual plot of the movie? Everything just goes wild for the entire movie, but stops when the canaries go back into the cage.
See, I think that's what they were getting at, but I also think it's a crock of shite. If I'm entirely honest, I get what the yeah, I can get that, but this no.
No, I think they were just they're trying to follow the mid 2010s, 2000s indie movie titling things, as I said in the
Listen, I
episode.
could have forgiven them the title if the remainder of the movie had some redeemable qualities. I can't think of anything offhand.
What about like let's think about a renaming the movie? Like there's, I think the main, well, there is no main thing. I think the rubber masks stick out to me a bit and the identity. So we could call the movie Rubber Masks or Changing Faces.
There you go. Changing faces. Face Off 2. See, these are better
Yeah,
titles. Get rid of
yeah.
the actors, put in Nick Cage and anybody else.
But actually, you know what? It tries to be drama. It tries to be a bit of a comedy. But if you titled it "Changing Faces," then you know it's going to be a comedy. So
Yeah.
change the script and make it funny.
Make a different movie.
Make a different
Change the
movie.
script, change the title, replace the actors.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we're sorted.
Yeah, I want Nick
I don't,
Cage. I don't know what the movie's going to be about, but Nick Cage is going to be in it.
changing faces.
Changing
Face
faces.
off.
Oh, I love that movie. So terrible.
That was the 90s for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, this movie. Listen, the characters like Barry was just insufferable.
Yeah, they're all annoying. It's like you didn't like anybody in what movie back then? Back in Huesera, you didn't like anybody. I don't like anybody in this. Nobody's funny.
I
Nobody's good.
similarly hate everybody in this movie. Everybody. Like, actually, no. I tell a lie. The guy whose mum died. I can't remember his name now. Anthony. Was it?
Yes, Anthony, played by Kevin Corrigan.
He was kind of likable, and I kind of liked how he was played. Everybody else
True.
wrecked my head. That's just
Yeah,
I
he was
can't
good.
find anything redeemable about any of the other actors.
Well, it's because they are in their 20s and we don't relate to people in their 20s anymore.
I hate young people. I'm
Because-
okay with that.
Well, because they're having dialogue and everybody's talking over each other and it's all this inane bullshit. And
Look
it's
at them
like,
standing up without going, "Oh God, my back."
drinking lots of
Drinking.
coffee.
And not waking up with a bad hangover, being able to work after a night in the booze.
Yeah.
Hate them so much.
I didn't like the way it was Scooby Dooed at us at the end. It was just a constant stream of, oh, this is what it's like the end of Murder She Wrote, but on speed, crystal meth.
Yeah, very, very much like that. Like, a really bad Scooby doing.
And then they did a Looney Tunes outro where the camera fades into the circle. I don't know how to explain it more.
Right,
You know what
there,
I'm
there
saying,
was a
right?
there was a bit I think we both liked, and that was the first 15 seconds where the guy comes up to the door and opens the door, and how it was filmed is quite interesting.
The gloved man fake out.
So 15 seconds of a movie, fantastic. The rest of
Yeah.
it, throw it in the bin. Put something else after that 15 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that was Changing Faces.
It has to have one of those scenes like, what was it, Changing Lanes? Where the car crashes. That's straight
Where they're
after
just-
the door opening scene. That happens.
Yeah. And it's just somebody's face mask falling off them, and then the next face is a mask also, and it just keeps on going off.
like
Masks keep coming off.
2 hours long.
It's just that.
Yeah,
I'd like that more, actually.
so would I.
Episode 29 was Random Movie 4339 of The Dig from 2020. What a lovely movie.
Ralph Fiennes, without saying a 4-letter word in it, which is kind of surprising with Ralph because he's very good at saying the C one.
Is he?
Oh yeah, you've seen In Bruges.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a character in that. Very, very different from this character, to say the
That's
least.
Ralph for you.
Ralph, yeah.
Oh, it's not Ralph, that's Rafe Fiennes.
I call him Ralph because it's Ralph. It ain't Rafe. Ralph.
Well, and see when you go up to him at a premiere.
And he decks me. He calls you fucking cat.
Oh, it's Rafe. Sorry.
I'd be quite happy if he said that to me. I'd be like, oh yeah, very nice.
So who is it in the fast show? Is it Ted or is it Ralph? That's the groundskeeper.
Ted's the
Or
groundskeeper.
okay, so Rafe finds is doing a bit of a Ted impersonation at the start, but then I soon got over that, and
Yeah.
it was a very nice movie. Subtle, we said it was gentle movie.
Subtle, soft, and easy on the brain, realistically.
The specter of death
Yeah, very Emily
looming
Dickinson.
over us.
But nice
Oh,
Emily Dickinson.
there's a funeral in my brain. Emily Dickinson.
That's the one. Because I
Yeah.
could
So
not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. Oh, very nice,
there you
Emily.
go.
Cheer up.
Cheer up, love.
Cheer up. Might never happen. Oh, it did. Shit.
Yeah, it always does.
But,
Actually, there was I was looking up a poem today called "Spring and Autumn," and I can't remember the bloody poet's name now, but it was about death as well. So that's what I look up nowadays.
yeah, well, it's not far off now. You might as well get as much
Yeah.
information about what's about to happen to you.
Well, there's that. I think the one that's embedded in our brains as Irish students is "Midterm Break" by Seamus Heaney.
Very good. Very depressing.
Yeah, but effective.
Oh yeah.
So this doesn't batter you over the head with death, but it's the main theme through it. And I think also it's quite the boat is weirdly sentimental, not sentimental, but it's weirdly powerful in its presentation in the movie. It's like it's so eerie, and I don't know.
I think because it represents celebrating the departure of somebody that mattered to a lot of people. Because it's the boat in this is a burial boat for an important Saxon chieftain or something.
There was a theory that it wasn't, and it was just one of those like monuments, an epitaph for soldiers. It wasn't actually a tomb, so I think that's one of the theories that the boat was that, but I don't know. But I read that.
That's possible.
We don't know.
We don't
We
know.
don't know.
I ain't no archaeologist. I don't have a Stetson or a whip.
Or a bicycle like Mr.
Mr.
Brown.
Brown, yeah. Basil.
Yeah, I wanted to I love history and archaeology, and I want to go to Egypt and do all that sort of malarkey, but I knew I was going to enjoy it. I don't know why. I obviously knew the actors in it, so I thought, okay, that's going to be good. And then the content, that's what I dig. That's what,
God.
yeah. But I
That is
love
the
history. And
joke.
I love going to museums, and this was cool. I liked the whole movie.
Yeah, there's nothing. Well, there's a few bits about this movie that are kind of annoying. Possibly the romance parts don't need to
Yeah,
be in this. They're kind of superfluous. But that being said, Rafe and the young kids' relationship is fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I think Miss Pretty is ably acted, and her impending departure from this mortal coil is very well paced and well played as well. Like it's quite poignant, and because of the significance of the boat and you falling off your chair.
yeah. Sorry, no, that was my page of my notes.
I thought you keeled over dead.
Yeah, that would be apt, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a good movie. There's no question about it, and it's easy watching. It's my second
It is.
favorite on this list.
Arr. What was your first? The Servant.
The Servant. I think that's just an amazing movie. Just crazy and brilliant.
I think The Dig is my favorite. I needed something quality. I needed something mild. I didn't want any sort of bullshit Korean space invaders.
Well, listen. After three in a row, which Hidalgo. I keep saying it wrong.
Hidalgo.
Hidalgo was kind of okay, not great, but not good. Save the Green Planet was shocking. Ladykillers was an uber disappointment. So this was a massive upgrade. Oh,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Wild
true.
Canaries. Oh my god, it was a
Ugh,
huge
yeah.
upgrade in the previous four movies.
Changing faces, I'll have you know.
Sorry,
Sorry, it's
Changing
not called.
Faces was
Yeah.
cack until we made some script changes.
We're gonna have to make an indie version of the indie movie and say this is what you should have
Nice.
done.
I want to do the sisters.
Yeah.
It has to have Rip Torn
Call it.
still though.
Hello, Rip Torn. Can you make a remake of The Sisters with us? Or we're not going to call it The Sisters. We're going to call it Insufferable Fucks.
The honest title of this movie.
Yeah. And you have to change your accent 20 times during the movie.
Randomly, no particular reason. In fact,
Yeah.
sometimes during a sentence.
Yeah. Just change it. That's what we want.
Camp it up a bit there, Rep,
Anyway,
will you?
yeah. All right, moving on to our last one
Oh
here.
yes.
Episode 30 was Saint Maud, Metascore 83, user score 7. You know, when I talk about Huesera, I think Huesera ramped up the intensity for me better than Saint Maud. Saint Maud is not a horror movie. It's not even a psychological thriller. It's like a psychological drama, I think, in my opinion. I don't think it thrilled me.
Yeah, I give you that. There are similarities in my head to Misery, or could have been. Um, it doesn't really go there, though. There's no torture of
No,
the
no,
patient.
no.
Well, there is 15 seconds of extreme torture, but that's it.
At the
The
end,
very end. Yeah, I get it's a kind of a journey for Maud in her descent into insanity, but yeah, it's not a horror movie. And as a movie that we chose for Halloween, very disappointing in that respect.
yeah, I was not happy. I was like,
Metacritic just done gone and effed us again.
well, it's not Metacritic. It's the randomness of the universe and the simulation. Right,
Well,
whoever pressed the Y button at the at the wrong time for our simulation was an asshole.
I'll break their legs when I get out of the simulation. I
You're
have to get to a hard line like Mr. Smith.
Matrix. Yeah, you're never getting out.
Mr.
You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability. That is the sound
Nice.
of your death. Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
I'm with Cypher on
Yeah,
this one
sorry.
though. You know,
You
if,
want the
if
meat? You want the
I
steak?
get the nice steak without the horrible noises,
Yeah, no
but
bones,
no
please.
bones, then Mr. Smith, you can keep me in, and I'll sell out everybody you want.
I probably would do that too. I'd probably just go, yeah, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, give me the
Give
steak. I don't
me.
want to eat that goopy glue stuff.
You get used to it as what do you call him? Beaker. What do you call him?
Beaker.
He looks like Beaker, doesn't he? What's his name?
Big
Because
floppy mouth.
when he's been introduced, he's in the background and he's like a shy little fella.
Oh, the digital pimp
Oh,
chap.
yeah, he's there going, oh, and that little guy over there, that's blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what the hell you call him?
He's very incidental in that movie.
He's actually he acted in Home and Away, I believe, that little actor.
Get away.
Yeah, I just remembered his face when I was looking at The Matrix for the first time. I was going, he's in Home and Away, that actor. Because I think there's another actress that played a sort of she had the rabbit on her shoulder. She was also in Home and Away, I believe.
The lady who brought him to the nightclub. Oh, okay.
Follow the rabbit.
Okay, Morpheus, you freaky stalker chap.
Why are we reviewing The Matrix?
It's a better movie. So,
yeah.
yes, we were slightly down the rabbit hole there.
Yeah.
Saint Maud.
So
Saint Maud.
Saint Maud was disappointing to me. I didn't like it one bit. It was too long, even though it was very short. It doesn't get into the psychologicalness of anybody in the movie. I want more background of Maud herself. I want to, as I said, I want the mechanism of flashbacks to her shitty killing a patient, to her conversion to Christianity. I want to see the lows. I want to see how mental she got. I want to see why she's this crazy person right now. And I want more of a bit of a more tension between her and Amanda, as opposed to just Amanda smiling shrewdly when she's doing grace and then calling her out in the party. I need more sort of stuff, and they could have put it in there because it was 41 minutes of crap first.
See, what I would say in its defense, and I don't really feel all that inclined to defend it. that much. But in its defense, I would say it is saved a little bit by stellar acting, like really good acting from the two main actresses. Um,
True.
there's some good production in there, and I know you disagree with this one, but I think the sound is well used in it as well. But the plot is weak.
It is. It is. And yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to wait until next Halloween to do another specific horror random movie. This time next time we'll do it like top 20, whatever, or even just top 10.
We'll just pick Halloween.
Yeah, just say, oh, random movie is Halloween. Okay. Or just pick one of the random Halloweens.
Yeah.
So actually, so our next episode, we're going to do a little side project, not a side project, but we're just going to change up our randomness. We're still doing random stuff, but our avid listener Rob in Singapore said, "Well, why don't you let the viewers give you their top 10 movies, and you still just pick a random movie from it? It's still the random method of picking something, and at least then you get a great movie, hopefully, and we get to talk about it, and pull it apart, and then everybody's happy, right?"
Yeah, this sounds really good to me after watching St. Maud's, Wild
Yeah,
Canaries, The Green Planet, Ladykillers, Hidalgo. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'll do is I'll read out his top 10, and then I'll pick a random number on our app here, and we'll choose which one is. I've only there's a lot of classics on this list, and I haven't watched a lot of them
Oh, very good.
because Rob's more of a classic connoisseur
He's a
movie
cinephile,
person
is
than
he?
I am. He is a cinephile. Okay, so I'll just read it out fast because this is a long episode. 10, Doctor Strange Love. 9,
Very good.
Failsafe. 8, Dog
Not
Day Afternoon.
great.
7, Lolita, Kubrick.
Great.
6, The Thing, Carpenter. 5,
Oh,
Path of Glory, Kubrick.
good.
4, Carnal Knowledge. 3, The Big Lebowski. 2, Manhattan. 1, Annie Hall. So there's a couple of Woody Allen stuff in there. He also said Sunset Boulevard is in there somewhere, maybe instead of The Thing. So I don't know what
Oh no,
he
keep the
wants us
thing,
to
keep the
choose.
thing, keep the thing. I love
Okay,
that
keep The
movie.
Thing. Actually, we could get a horror movie
Yeah.
for her.
10%
For
chance. Let's do this.
yeah. Okay, so I put 1 to 10 in my app, and I'm going to click the randomize button now. And we have got number 3, The Big Lebowski.
Hey, Crime Bros. Okay. Okay. It ain't a horror movie, but it is good.
No, it is good, and I know I like the movie, but I've never really taken it apart. So this is going to be good. It's going to be a challenging episode for us, but a rewarding one.
Cool. No getting wasted before the movie, which is the thing you're supposed to normally do with the Big Lebowski.
No
Uh,
white Russians.
oh, Russians. Yeah. This is a proper Coen Bros movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like the Ladykillers, they wrote this one themselves.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I've watched it many times. I've watched it on planes a lot as well. It's always
Steve
on a plane.
Buscemi in this. Oh man,
Steve Buscemi, John Goodman. Yeah,
Yeah, listen, it's
yeah,
just everything about this movie is
great.
fantastic. I'm super stoked for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be great just to break it down a bit. Great. Okay, so that's going to be episode 32 when
Which
we
will be
watch
three
that one.
hours long.
Yeah, it'll be our first 3 hour breakdown of a movie. It'll be interesting to see what our scores are for each of the things because this is a real, like, could be top 10, top 20 movies in my
Yeah, listen,
list or
this
whatever.
beats out the previous best movie we've reviewed, which might have been Private Ryan, maybe.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think so. So this will be good. Okay, so please like, rate, share. If you've listened this far in this 50 odd minute episode, we're going to put a call out for other listeners to give us their top 10 movies so we can randomly choose movies from that as well. So please get to do that. You can message us on Facebook or whatever. And yeah, we'll see you on episode 32 for The Big Lebowski. Bye bye.
Cheerio.